Hi, I'm Terence Vanderwood, co-host of Dollars with Sense radio show and podcast here with my fellow financial guru, Ela Lange.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another great episode of Dollars with Sense. Comprehensive financial planning is our passion, and helping people grow and protect their wealth is our mission. This week, grow your dollars and send Junior to uni. We're going to discuss the importance of planning for a child's post-secondary education, as costs are already high today. But what will they be in 15 to 20 years from now?
We'll dedicate some time to explain what a Registered Education Savings Plan, or RESP, is, and ways to maximize your savings beyond RESPs. Of course, we will leave you with action items to get you going on your savings plan.
That's great, Terence. This is my favorite part, actually, of comprehensive financial planning, because here in BC, we're really lucky to have a provincial government who provides parents with free money to kickstart investing in our children's future education. Imagine, for eligible children, the BC Training and Education Savings Grant amounts to $1,200 per child that is directly deposited into an RESP. Combined with monthly Canada Child Care benefits we get through our children's early years, as well as grants we get from the federal government matching our contributions to RESPs, parents can count on a solid foundation on which to start their education planning. So Terence and I will give you some smart education savings ideas to help you expand your child's future education prospects.
Yes, so if you've got young children or grandchildren and want to do all you can to provide them with opportunities to succeed, to afford the college or university of their choice so they can follow the career they dream about and attain maximum earning power, you'll want to pay close attention for the next 20 minutes. Today's topic, again, is children's education savings, which is really important given the rising costs of post-secondary education. Long-term planning can overcome the financial burdens of higher education. Here are some amazing facts. Canadians with a university bachelor level degree earn 50% more than someone with a high school diploma. Canadians with a trade or college diploma earn up to 15% more than someone with a high school diploma. The impact of this additional earning potential makes it clear that a post-secondary education has become vital for young Canadians. And according to a 2006 census, 6 in 10 Canadians now have a post-secondary degree. The question is, did these individuals have a plan to pay for their education, or are they still paying off their student loan debts right now?
Now, let's take a closer look at what costs do go up over time. What could your child's annual tuition be in 10, 15, and 20 years from now? Let's assume tuition goes up 5% a year. That's going to be the inflation rate. And what could be your child's tuition in that amount of time? We'll look at the stats here. College program today costs $2,280, but with that inflation rate, in 10 years, that grows to $3,713. In 15 years, $4,739, and in 20 years, $6,049. But look at university rates. And 20 years from now, let's start with today. We were looking up that information on the website for the University of BC. $5,700 is generally about tuition annually. Well, in 20 years from now, with inflation, that can creep up to $15,314. And what about costs of apprenticeship and skilled trades training? If your child enters an apprenticeship program, they'll spend part of their time in class and part of their time in on-the-job training. Students may have to pay for class time, tools, and equipment. Today, class costs can range from $200 to $800 per year. So for those of you who have just had children or just about to have children, that 20-year number can look a little scary. And remember, that's just the tuition or class cost. When you can add on other educational costs and living expenses, the number can become staggering. The Canadian Foundation for Economic Education reports that university students who live at home spend, on average, $4,000 per year on non-educational items, and that those who live away from home spent, on average, $11,000 on non-educational items. Yikes. Terence, how am I going to pay for these costs?
Well, you can tell your child to stop drinking so much beer because that's part of the non-educational items. But that may not be the only solution. Well, your income at the time your child is in school maybe suffice. If you're making $200,000 a year and you can spare an extra $7,000 or $8,000 a year to pay for your child's education, then there you go. But there's the majority of the population is not in that situation. So your child may work either part-time during the school year, full-time in the summer months, or both, and help to fund their education. I did some of that myself when I was in college. They may even start working and saving while in high school. There's another opportunity. There are a number of awards and scholarships and grants available to students from different institutions and student loans or borrowing funds from families such as grandparents or friends. And of course, there's always a personal savings. In many cases, a combination of all six could be required to cover the many costs we've mentioned about post-secondary education.
Well, so then let's talk about the several potential methods of saving up for a child or grandchild's post-secondary education. You may decide to pursue one or more of these methods depending on your cash flow. After examining your income versus your expenses, what amount of uncommitted money do you have to dedicate to this goal, let's say monthly? Non-registered investments can save your own money in your own name. You'll pay taxes on it as it grows, it's true, and in 20 years or so, you can decide what to do with it. So long as you invest it directly in your name and do not attempt to call it a trust account or similar, it will remain your money under your control. The downside, of course, is that you have to pay tax on the investment income and capital gains. But you may consider this to be a small price to pay to retain that control.
Parents can set up an investment account in the child's name, also known as a minor account. A grandparent can't generally set up a minor account, but if a parent has established the account and gives permission, a grandparent may contribute to it. A formal trust is a trust in which the terms and conditions for the use of the trust property, in this case money, are put in writing. This strategy is recommended if there is a significant lump sum being put aside to fund a child's education at one time, usually $25,000 or more. The terms of the trust should specifically address whether the trustee can use the trust funds to make RESP contributions on behalf of a trust beneficiary. An informal trust is a trust where there is no documentation in writing. Frequently, a parent or grandparent will establish an investment account with a financial institution in their name but labeled in trust for the child. The parent or grandparent usually funds the investment accounts. These are very niche options, so if this is something that you think is applicable to your situation, I encourage you to meet with a financial planner to discuss the details, advantages, and disadvantages to these plans. Again, if you do not have a financial planner that you can go to, please feel free to reach out to us and contact us, and we will set you up with a great financial planner.
You do need to be at least 18 years of age to make a tax-free savings account contribution. So parents cannot establish a TFSA as minor accounts. If parents wish to save money in TFSAs to use for financing a child's future education, the parents must use their own TFSA contribution room. So be careful there. Each individual may contribute up to $52,000 right now. The contribution is not tax deductible, but you pay no taxes, on the assets within the TFSA, and you pay no tax on withdrawals from a TFSA. It's a fantastic, great account. Withdrawals can be used for any purpose, and the amount you withdraw in a given year will be added back to your TFSA contribution room for for the following year. So if you have $52,000 already in your TFSA account, you decide to take out $10,000 in 2017 for this year, well, you can put back your $10,000 in 2018 and not before.
A registered education savings plan, or RESP, is a trust governed by the Income Tax Act of Canada that allows subscribers or owners, usually the parents or grandparents, to make contributions on behalf of a beneficiary, usually the child, to save for post-secondary education. The advantages are that it's easy to set up, there are no legal or accounting expenses, and the subscriber retains complete control of the funds. The child will need a social insurance number, which you can set up at any Services Canada office. Guess what, folks? There's a Services Canada in our building, so you can do both at the same time. You can get your SIN and you can get an RESP at the same time here on Glen Drive in Coquitlam. The taxation of all income, that is interest, dividends, and capital gains, is deferred while the underlying assets are held by the RESP. Once the child attends post-secondary education, the income from the RESP is taxed in the child's hands when it's paid out, possibly at a lower tax rate or no tax rate at all. The RESP growth will be used to pay for a post-secondary education, although the parent or grandparent has control over the contributions. In certain situations, the RESP may receive the Canada Education Savings Grant, or the CESG, and or other government funds such as the Canada Learning Bond, the CLB. Just remember that lifetime contribution limit is $50,000, and the maximum the government will match over the lifetime is $7,200. And also, if the child does not attend post-secondary education within 40 years of the plan being established, the government takes back the grants, and the income that has been earned goes to your taxes or the subscriber's taxes, and then the rest that you have contributed can roll into an RRSP.
So let's take a closer look at some of the top benefits of RESPs. Government grants. The Human Resources and Skills Development Canada provides government grants based on contributions made to an RESP. So they may also provide a Canada Learning Bond with no requirement to make matching contributions. The Canada Learning Bond, however, is income tested and usually awarded to lower income families. The income threshold eligibility varies depending on family size, but generally speaking, if family income exceeds $38,000, the family will probably not qualify. Another top benefit of RESPs is tax deferral. Every cent in the RESP can grow on a tax-deferred basis until it is withdrawn. Ability to income split. Well, did you know that when your child starts school and receives an educational assistant payment, that's an EAP, from the RESP, your child, not you, pays the tax on the withdrawn amount. More than likely, and very little tax will be paid on this amount because as a student, your child will likely have very little income and lots of tuition and education credits.
As we said before, a lifetime maximum contribution of $50,000 is based per beneficiary, not per plan. Therefore, if you are not the parent of the child beneficiary, it makes great sense to discuss your intentions to establish an RESP with the parents of the child to ensure that not more than $50,000 is being contributed for each child by all contributors. Because of the way the CESG program works, many subscribers choose to limit annual contributions to $2,500 per year to ensure access to the maximum CESG grants. The contribution and termination timelines provide ample opportunity for the funds to be used for education purposes, even when the plan is established immediately following the birth of the child. As we said before, the child can use the RESP money towards post-secondary education 40 years after the plan is established. So if you establish an RESP for your 6-year-old child, that means up until the age of 46, they can use the RESP room for their post-secondary education.
Well, that's great. It gives our kids time to think about whether they're going to go to pursue their studies or not. They don't have to do it at 18. They may not do it until they're 25. Who knows? At least they still have that money available, right?
Great to have options.
The Basic Canada Education Savings Grant will give you 20% on every dollar of the first $2,500 you save in your child's RESP each year. Depending on your net family income, you could receive an extra 10% or 20% on every dollar for the first $500 you save in your child's RESP each year.
Though contributions to an RESP are made with after-tax dollars, you do not have to pay tax on growth in an RESP until money is withdrawn. If the growth is paid to your child while he or she is attending an eligible post-secondary education program, then you won't pay taxes on the growth either. Your child will, and he or she will likely be in a lower tax bracket or perhaps even at 0% tax bracket.
And remember, folks, our discussion around compound growth, well, we talked about that at RRSP season, but the same applies here. Let's take a look at the chart that's coming up on your screen right now. It's called the value of an RESP. It is assuming that a monthly contribution of $208 for 18 years combined with a $500 annual government grant for 14.4 years compounded at 6.5% over 18 years in general over the entire plan can provide you with a pre-tax market value of $99,000. That's to finance a post-secondary education. That's a brilliant projection. Again, nothing guaranteed, but just projections to illustrate our examples.
Yes, so this means, looking at the chart again, you can see in the gray, the light gray, that's your total contribution. According to this graph, your total contribution of giving $210 a month, or sorry, $208.33 per month over that 18-year time period will equal to about $43,000 that you will contribute. And then the total government contribution will be the $7,200, as we discussed before. And then the rest will be growth on that. The compound growth on that investment will be available for your loved one, your child, for almost $100,000 for their post-secondary education.
Finally, choosing which investments to hold within your RESP depends on a number of factors, including your overall financial goals, your time horizon, and your tolerance for risk. Opting to include a mutual fund investment in your child's RESP can deliver both flexibility and growth potential.
To ensure your RESP investments are able to deliver the kind of returns you need without exposing you to more risks than you're prepared to accept, it's a really good idea to diversify your investments.
An Investors Group RESP offers you that flexibility of choosing from more than 130 mutual funds and from a variety of fund families. We'll also review your goals and risk tolerance over time to help you choose the RESP solution that is most appropriate for you throughout your child's preschool, elementary school, and secondary school years.
So this week's action items. Decide how much you want to save for your child's education. And everyone is different around this. I say all the time, finances are much like fingerprints. We all have a fingerprint, but each one is unique and individual, and such is the same when it comes to finances. So the good questions to answer that you can write down to help you find out what that number is: how many years of post-secondary education do you want to pay for? Do you want to pay for just their first year? Do you want to pay for an 8-year education? Those are going to have a big difference. What kind of school do you want your child to go to? So are they going to Harvard, which is going to have a much different cost to it than, say, going to BCIT? And the other important part of that question is, do you want to pay for the whole education or just part of it? The reason why I say this is one example is that I thought was from an interesting choice between some parents was to let their child pay for the first year. And then the subsequent years will be paid for by the parents. This can give the child a very important lesson that is not taught in the education system. That is the value of a dollar.
Yes, the sooner we teach that to our kids, the better. Yep. So again, here's our action item, is to find a final number that you want for your child. Today's average costs for books and tuition is considered $10,000 per year. But once you have that number, contact your financial planner to help you figure out how much you need to save monthly, or perhaps use a lump sum that you already have access to receive maximum grants and to help compound grow your money. Written financial plans. We have phenomenal software, just so that you know out there. Investors Group provides us consultants, financial planners, with the software to help us project numbers and to provide options that are feasible within your cash flow to realize goals that you set for yourselves and for your children's education planning. Again, if you do not have a financial planner, feel free to reach out to Terence and I. We can always help you find one that is a good fit or help you ourselves. A financial planner should be someone that you have a good or amazing relationship with, that you trust on a long-term basis. If you're not currently happy with the one you have, there's no cost or obligation for a second opinion.
Yes, so reach out to us and we'll make sure that we'll get you a great financial planner. You can reach us by email at twofinancialgurus@gmail.com. That's the number 2financialgurus@gmail.com. You can give us a call. Number is 778-879-0820. We'd love to have a conversation with you. You can also reach us by Facebook page. Our Facebook page, Dollars with Sense, has this episode and all the other ones on there. You can leave a comment for us. Like the page while we're there, and we'll be sure to get back to you that way. Finally, you can reach us by YouTube, our YouTube channel. Ella and I have our own YouTube channel. You go to the YouTube search bar and punch in Ella and Terence, and we'll come up to the top of the list, and you can check out our other 38 episodes at your leisure. And if you subscribe while you're there, you will automatically be notified when a new episode or updated episode is ready for your listening pleasure.
Thank you all for tuning in today and joining us on this episode of Dollars with Sense. We hope you found it useful. We look forward to seeing you back here next week for another knowledgeable packed episode. Until then, Terence and I wish you a productive week. And may your dollars and cents be with you.
This podcast is presented as a general source of information only and is not intended as a solicitation to buy or sell specific investments, nor is it intended to provide professional advice, including without limitation investment, financial, legal, accounting, or tax advice. For more information on this topic or any other investment or financial matters, please contact an Investors Group consultant. Prospective investors should review the annual report, simplified prospectus, and annual information form of any fund carefully before making an investment decision. Clients should discuss their situation with their consultants for advice based on their specific circumstances. Commissions, fees, and expenses may be associated with mutual fund investments and the use of Symphony Strategic Investment Planning. Read the prospectus and speak to an Investors Group consultant before investing. Mutual funds are not guaranteed, values change frequently, and past performance may not be repeated. Symphony is an asset allocation service which provides a strategic approach to investment planning relating only to Investors Group mutual funds. Trademarks, including Investors Group, are owned by IGM Financial Incorporation and licensed to its subsidiary corporations.